Hello, hope you're well. Okay, so let's talk about income, in particular how income relates to child maintenance. So child maintenance nowadays for the child maintenance service is based upon the 2012 scheme. Prior to 2012, the old child support agency existed, and my understanding is in those days, child maintenance calculations were based upon deductions. So you earned your money and they then looked at your outgoings and then came up with a figure for child maintenance. In 2012, when the new scheme came out, they based it on HMRC taxable income. And the reason for that is because it's very easy for them to calculate. All they have to do is get the figure from HMRC, which they do once per year. Okay, and that figure basically comprises of your taxable income. So if you have a job and you're paid via payroll, that's the tax information sent to HMRC, and so therefore HMRC have your information. If you're self-employed and you do self-assessment, again HMRC have the information. Okay, and from that what they're able to then do is produce an annual calculation based upon your annual taxable earnings. Now, there's a couple of exceptions here, because if you are paid dividends, for example, because you hold shares in the company, HMRC don't initially provide that information to CMS. I don't know why, but I understand it's due to a quirk in some tax law somewhere. Okay, so if you are paid in dividends, maybe if you're a company director, initially that won't be declared to the CMS, and therefore the initial calculation will not show that income. However, the receiving parent can go to CMS and ask for dividends to be taken into account. Now, they can't just ask for dividends, they need to have a reasonable justification, such as my partner, when we were together, we had a limited company and we used to pay ourselves dividends, in which case CMS are then supposed to look at that, and they simply go back to HMRC and get your dividend income figure, add that to your earnings, and then you'll charge CMS on that. Okay, now of course your HMRC tax returns include things such as interest earned and bank and savings accounts. So potentially when you have a bank account, you pay CMS on the interest earnings. If it's an ISA, you don't, because ISA interest is effectively free of tax, and therefore it's not generally reported, as far as I'm aware, to HMRC, and certainly it does not appear as part of your taxable earning calculation, which raises an interesting proposition, because what this actually means is, because they're using HMRC figures, because they're basing it on the gross taxable income, any income you receive that isn't taxed at source then and reported to HMRC, you won't pay CMS on. Okay, common things that you don't pay tax on initially is if you rent a room in your house. So HMRC allow you to rent a room in your house, okay, and they allow you to receive £7,500 per year in income through renting a room in your house. And the interesting thing is, if you look this up on the HMRC web pages, they effectively say to you, we don't want to know. If it's below £7,500, we don't want to know about it because it's an exemption. So crack on, earn the money, we don't need to know. And because HMRC don't need to know because it's under £7,500 as of today's recording date, okay, that means you can effectively earn £7,500 a year in income that doesn't go to HMRC, and therefore HMRC don't provide that to CMS, and therefore you don't pay CMS on it. Okay. Other sorts of incomes, let's just think about this. If you're lend some money to a friend, okay, or a friend lends you lend money to a friend and they give you some interest, and obviously that's not going to appear as well, because for all intents and purposes that's not information that's disclosed to HMRC. It doesn't form part of your taxable income. Okay, there are other things out there that are exempt from income tax. I'll let you look them up, but they will include certain things like I think gilt investments. I need to check on that, but essentially, yeah, not taxable. Okay, if you rent private property, then you are supposed to declare that normally. So if you own a house and you rent that out to someone, you are supposed to declare that to HMRC. And of course, HMRC then include that in your taxable income. So, if you're a landlord, that income you receive will obviously get recorded with HMRC. Okay. Common questions related to tax as well is my CMS calculated on my P60? Yes and no, it's not exclusive. So the P60 is an end of year tax document produced by an employer. Okay. That employer, at the end of the year, tells them HMRC how much you've paid in tax and how much you've earned. Okay. So in some respects, that is, the correct answer. It does make up your CMS. But obviously, if you've got other income as well, that's not included on the P60, because the P60 is basically job-related income, okay? And your CMS isn't based on your job-related income, it's based on all your taxable income, okay? And of course, your last P60, so for example, if you do if you're not self-employed, but if you do self-assessment, okay, the tax year ends on the 5th of April, but your self-assessment isn't due to the end of January the following year. So if you have an annual review, maybe in September, okay, that money from that tax year won't be included, okay, because obviously you haven't done your tax return. So your last available tax year is actually the year before. If I look at the example now, at the time of recording, it is September 2023, almost October, okay, and if someone just had a job and had no other form of income, and the annual review date was today, they would use the income for the period up to the 5th of April. If they do self-assessment, well, that's not due until next year. So they'll be working off the tax return from the previous year. So they'll be looking at the 21-22 tax year, okay? Everyone's very slightly different. Obviously, CMS especially uses the most recent year, but that's not the most recent tax year. That's the most recent tax year that HMRC make available to the CMS, and that's what makes a difference, okay? A common thing is people say they're not using the last tax year, they're using the one before. Well, depending on when it is, that's probably right. So, that's just the way it is. So just check what tax year they're using, okay? And it can be confusing. So, for example, they may say they're using the 2023 tax year. Well, is that 22-23 or is that 23-24? So just be aware of that, okay? So I hope this has formed a useful sort of summary of what CMS use for income and why they do it, okay? Obviously, it's great if you could give this video a like, and it would be great if you could also subscribe, and then you'll get future updates, okay? If you've got any comments, please put them in the comments section. I do look at the comments and I do reply to the comments. Sometimes I reply straight away. Sometimes it might be a few days later. There is also a Facebook group that's listed in the description. So if you want more information to do CMS, join the Facebook group. Last time I looked, we would come up to about 900 members on that Facebook group, which is brilliant, okay? I say it's brilliant, it's great there's 900 members, but it's not so good that there's 900 members on there because they've all got questions about CMS. Okay, but yeah, please join the Facebook group. Please like and subscribe to this video. Okay, if you do subscribe, then obviously you'll get my future videos. Okay, also if you've got a particular topic you want me to cover, more than happy, I can do that for you. Absolutely no problem. So brilliant. Okay, you have a great time, and thank you for your time. Have a great day. See you later. Bye bye.